Hello, I am recording this the day before the Australian federal election, as I hope to predict what will happen not just in this election, but when the next election will happen. So, the polls make it look a little unclear because of this soft support shit, but based on the bandwagon momentum and nearly all Australian media treating like a third of the voters who don't prioritise the major parties as people worth talking to, treating the race like a two-horse race. I think it's pretty clear that Labor have done way better from the two-horse race swing voter types who haven't discovered alternatives yet, or like don't understand preference voting, so they think they have to vote for the lesser evil. But I think probably Labor will increase their majority in the lower house, like by a seat or two, or break even. But I don't think they're going to lose their majority in the lower house. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's minority government. I think we're going to end up with a more right wing Senate, though, because the Senate is the way it's proportional voting. It tends to be more representative of the statewide swings, which sometimes get a bit merged by like each different electorate. The way Queensland has gone, the way that One Nation is polling, the amount of dark money thrown at this election could steer a lot of gronks to the right when it comes to Senate preferences. Um, I don't think there's as much dodgy Senate preference deals as there used to be. At least I haven't heard much news of it. And that's certainly a positive thing because that used to really stooge democracy. But yeah, so I think we're going to get a slightly more regressive crossbench Senate, more Teals in the lower house, but Liberals will do so bad that Labor will pick up enough seats that they'll, yeah, I assume Greens will break even or get an extra seat. I don't think they'll, like, maybe they'll lose one, like, maybe they'll lose Brisbane, pick up Wills sort of thing. And, is it called Richmond? The one that like Ballina, that kind of Byron Bay area takes in. That could go to Greens with Mandy Nolan being a strong candidate, but it's very hard to tell. So yeah, I think Greens will probably break even or gain one seat. But the biggest point is like it won't affect Parliament that much, and if anything, Greens might be disempowered in the Senate if they don't do well enough in the Senate, or if like say Vic Socialists get in and then they tend to block more things. Well, maybe that will empower Greens if Labor have to look to Greens who are actually pragmatic and wedged by Labor into doing good deals if a good deal is possible. Where if Vic Socialists get in, they'll probably be more radical, try and drag the discourse left, which is what I voted for. But I know a lot of people hate that. Uh, so yeah, the whole point of this though is with a more chaotic Senate. That's basically the point. More chaotic, harder for Labor to do deals, more people for them to deal with, and who knows how much of a united bloc that Senate crossbench will be. It was a lot. Like the Teals and Greens were in agreement on a lot of things through the last term, where they're both incentivized to do so, like on election funding reform, like on the before Labor watered down the ICAC with the Liberals. Um, Teals and Greens to the left of that, they're tending to push for like higher job seeker because you have to be like a really regressive, like pro poverty person to have Australia have some of the lowest unemployment benefits in the world, well, not in the world, in the OECD, while being one of the lowest taxing nations in the OECD. And then I think Greens and Teals tend to realise, be more on the economist side of things, if we need to increase revenue for Australia, whereas the major parties are trying to shrink the revenue base, which is like the complete opposite to what economists have told me that Australia needs as a lower taxing country compared to the rest of the OECD. But voters don't vote for policies with those perspectives. They just think, what's going to help me with cost of living? What do I have? Which political footy team do I have positive associations with? Um, so now the big prediction: double dissolution in 2027.